towards the mission by creating a safe space where people can share business challenges and learn more about their own business while learning about other businesses in their local communities. My favorite part are the pillars. These are presentations. They're not sales pitches, which makes us different. The other thing that makes us incredibly different is that they are authentic connections. If you've been on for even 5 minutes, you've noticed that we tend to know each other and we like each other. And my favorite pillar, we are radically and intentionally inclusive, both in personality, people, and businesses. Next slide, John. Did we die? Did I freeze?
You did not freeze. I think Buster is having technical difficulties. There we go.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay. Fred, you're up. This is where we welcome our visitors. So if we have any other new folks in the room, please raise your hand on the screen and then please share just your name, your company name, and how you heard about us. Fred, take it away.
All righty. Well, hello and good morning or good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're from. I'm Fred Jefferson. My company is Jefferson Leadership, just launched in December. I heard about you through Katie Nelson, through Mark Silverman. I had a wonderful meeting last week, and I just wanted to keep the momentum going. So that's a little bit about me.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. Bonnie?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I'm Bone He, but Bone as in Bone He. Yes. Forget my last name. It's long, but sorry. I have a small firm, Motivet. I'm in Springfield, and we are in the area of quality assurance in higher education. Work mostly with universities that are seeking accreditation, both within the United States and abroad, seeking to, we are new. The firm is new, meaning 3 years new. And we are seeking to find fellow entrepreneurs, trying to hear them out, their experiences, learn from them, get ideas, to grow, expand, and maybe just be part of a bigger community in this area.
That is great. How did you hear about us?
So someone suggested that, you know what, there are groups of, some different groups that meet where entrepreneurs meet. I said, really? I never knew about that. And I started Googling, and 1MillionCups was on top.
I'm going to be accused of using you as a plant this week, given what our organizers were talking about earlier this week. So thank you for joining us. And welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody else that I missed? I think I went through all of them, but I'll give it one last go if I missed you. Okay, well, welcome and thank you all for joining us. Next slide, John. So this is the big important slide. This is where we let the Kauffman Foundation know that we are the best chapter. We are the best 1 Million Cups community. So this is where we check in. If you'll just use your phone, scan the QR code, and let them know that you were here today, that you can see our growth over time. Our goal is generally 30 to 40 attendees per group. And as you can see, we are growing towards that even during the summer months, which is always good. If you miss this QR code, it will come up again. This doesn't happen in a vacuum. There is an organizer team that blood, sweat, and tears. Okay, not so many tears. To put this together each week. If you are interested in having a bigger impact on the 1 Million Cups Fairfax community, you are welcome to shoot us a note, put your name in chat, let us know that you're interested, and then This friendly crew, I just realized that headshot is 4 years old. This friendly crew will meet with you on Mondays and put this this workshop, this community meeting together. Next slide, please. Jen, may I ask you to speak about the Mason Enterprise Center as our location sponsor?
Absolutely. The Mason Enterprise Center is where we meet the first and third. You'll learn more about this later. Wednesday of the month. We do still have a hybrid meeting. What's great about the Mason Enterprise Center, it is a huge training room. If you decide that you need to do speaking or training for your business, consider joining Mason Enterprise Center. You can join as a virtual member. You can join and have office space there. They also have boardroom meetings as well as these training rooms. It's a fantastic location. Eddie Hill is the director. He is amazing. They also have access to a lot of resources that other incubators don't. One key thing to know, by the way, is they don't take equity. Some incubators take equity when you join. MEC does not. They do provide over 25 mentors. They provide programming, connections. There are programs like the SBDC as a partner is there, ICAP, ICOR. If you don't know what those are, talk to Eddie. If you're trying to scale your business, they are a fantastic partner.
Thanks, Jen. Mark, are you here today?
Mark is not here. He could not make it, but I am supposed to read for him since he's not
Okay.
here.
Well, then please do.
All right. Um, so Baccarat Consulting, you have seen Mark present actually in the past. He has a cybersecurity firm. They partner with government contractors, professional services firms, and technology organizations to translate complex cybersecurity expectations into practical, executable strategies. He gave me words with the most syllables to practice my enunciation. Their approach combines real-world leadership experience, disciplined risk management, and tailored advisory services that help their clients secure environments while managing sustainable growth. So if you want to learn more about Baccarat Consulting, if you need help from a cybersecurity standpoint, they do work with small, medium-sized firms. So please reach out and talk with Mark.
Thank you, Jen. And I was remiss, I did not say that Baccarat Consulting's our coffee sponsor this month. If you're interested in being a coffee sponsor, we'd love to have you. We are full through the end of the year, but if you're interested for 2027, we love to have a pipeline. And you can put it in chat or email us. So how our meetings work. We're all adults in the room. Well, most of us, adults in the room. We ask that you stay on mute while during the presentation. Shawn today will be sharing for about 8 minutes on his business challenge. It's actually an update from a prior presentation. Then we'll get to Q&A. John Foster will moderate the questions and answers for us. We ask that you keep the questions short. We also ask that you keep the responses short. One question at a time. Please don't use should statements. That can sometimes be challenging for folks. And also for you, Shawn, just know that you'll get a transcript of this so you don't have to scribble frantically while you are answering the questions. So with that, I am going to turn this over to Shawn Gregoire with Capstone Outreach.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for welcoming me once again here. For those who are new, I'm Shawn Gregoire. I'm the founder and CEO of Capstone Tech, where I've tackled where I tackle workforce development problems like with products and tech. I have 3 products, and this is my newest one, Capstone Outreach. And background wise, I'm a Air Force vet for about 14 and a half years. I worked with NAVFAC over at the Navy Yard for about 7 months until I got dosed with 2 hours notice. And that's when I started my company. I feel really thankful about it because I get to help people with the stuff that I build every day. Slide. Yes. So, my challenge question is, how do I get in front of event planners to see how I can use Capstone Outreach to support their attendees? And before I move forward, a little bit of context is that Capstone Outreach is essentially a CRM that allows people um, um, to track their leads with constant follow up and customized follow up. And what I realized is that the CRM space is extremely crowded. And even though my product is pretty competitive, I use the heck out of it every day. I'm not really breaking through online, and I need to find an effective way to niche down and make it great for 10 people as opposed to making it okay for 100 people. So, right. So, as far as Capstone Tech, this was founded around this time last year. When did I anticipate launching my business? It has already been up. Capstone Tech has been around for a little over a year now. I've been at this full time, like since the beginning of the year, and I'm extremely happy. When did I sell my first business product after launching? Pretty soon after. Like especially like for feedback, I remember the last time I was here, I was able to I'll stop my video. What is some summer video? I apologize for that. But I remember the last time I was here, I got a ton of great feedback and I applied almost all of it, and it has indeed made my product really effective. And I operate online across the United States. Right. And as ever, my problem solves the issue of follow-up and warm connection outreach. So if you've ever gone to a conference, I'm sure you've had great conversations. You've had a pocket full of business cards, and then you wait 48 hours, and it's not only wildly inconvenient to remember to do follow-up for 15, 20 people, but you forget what you're talking about, like what you talked about. You forgot what made those moments particularly memorable. So what I wanted to build was something to capture that moment immediately with the context that you had that made it memorable and turn that into customized feedback. So you keep that relationship warm, you keep that momentum going. I found as a solo founder that my biggest weakness was following up from these great conversations, and I wanted to build something to solve my own problem, and it really has. Like, there's no way around it. There's a lot of iteration that that got involved with different edge cases and everything else, and I'll show you in the product demo. But in essence, this allows you to keep in touch with your leads so they don't go cold on you. And as someone just getting started, it's been all important in making sure I capitalize on any momentum that I have. So yes. So as of right now, I charge $25 a month for warm outreach, where we can like have emails and upload everything yourself, and you have up to 100 cold outreach. So there's also a section where you can customize your cold outreach to different folks, and I'll show you a little bit of that as well. And for $45 a month, it's a full warm and cold outreach, and upload yourself. Needless to say, I am open to a business model adjustment to adjust to a new ideal customer profile. I apologize for the jargon, but if an event planner is like, oh my gosh, just like I love this and I just need this and this and this, and I'll use this and tell everyone for the rest of my life, I'll be like, okay, how do you want to pay for it? And I will adjust accordingly. So right. So my value prop, offering instant follow-up and targeted outreach for warm connections. And my ideal client is essentially a one-to-many model with event planners who want to ensure that their attendees get high ROI from their experience, return on investment. I apologize for more jargon. My unique value, being able to go mobile first to follow up with warm leads, where where the positive contact happens, and then being able to scale that out with a really robust web section once you get home, and being able to fill everything in. And like you'll see, like you have everything from being able to link to your calendar to being able to re-engage if follow-up doesn't go the way as you planned, all those wonderful things, right? And this is primarily built for one-to-one follow-up and outreach instead of bulk cold outreach. I found that, really trying to compete with, like Apollo, HubSpot, like the stuff that bigger teams use to scale out their outbound isn't where I'd like to be. So right. So my on target audience are event organizers, accelerators, networking organizations, and I've been doing stuff like this, and I've been trying with SEO. SEO was the big flashing sign that I have not stood out enough because it hasn't done very well, which is why I'd like to readjust. Slide. Yes, I have all sorts of competitors in this space. Like you have your big folks here, like Instantly and the like, where you talk through, and this is more for really small organizations, instead of large teams. Manual follow-up, it doesn't work, it's torturous, and you really lose out on momentum. And Honeybook and Planning Prod, right? And these platforms are normally used to organize the event itself and not support the attendees and companies at said event. So, right. Here we are. So we're gonna quickly do the demo. All right, so like I said before, you have your dashboard here. This is already showing follow-ups that are due, who I haven't spoken with yet, but that's something that automatically comes up. The original thesis of this came from being able to upload a business card or take a picture of one on mobile and have it upload your contact information here. In this case, I literally used this yesterday. I'm meeting someone. And as you can see here, the pictures here, it will upload all of the information. You see the automatic research that it does, and you're able to add notes that add context to like your AI outreach. And you can add private notes now. So if you want to have something personal that doesn't leak into the email, that part is all yours. Quickly going back. Oh, and obviously you can do like your customized follow-up here, right? So it will draft something within 10 seconds and you'll be able to send it out. Going back to the content, you can export your contacts. You can like add them to your phone. You can import CSVs. It will merge duplicates, import from each mailbox. As far as follow-ups, I actually have a signal section that will track different leadership changes from my business and will draft automated emails. And a lot of this comes from previous meetings. So this is a great one right here, right? Because this is connected to my calendar. It takes the transcript, and you can see what we talked about here. And this was quite accurate, actually. So yeah, like, and this is automatically drafted at this point. Like it's really hard for me to mess up like a follow-up at this point. And I'm very thankful for these folks. When I talk about the re-engagement, if someone didn't like reply to my email stream, it literally pops up here. I get an email and I recycle it. And it references what we talked about before and say like, hey, we had a misconnection, et cetera, et cetera. There we are, right? So again, it has really revolutionized the way that I have approached follow up and meeting people because I really don't have an excuse to reach out to folks anymore. As far as the settings, for those who are new, you have the ability to customize your footer here. and it actually does connect to your email. It's not like a third-party STMP where it says, hey, this came from a third party, danger, danger, danger. No, this actually comes from your email. Like I said before, it's links to my calendar, and like I have it to automatically draft a follow-up. So like it's always transcribing notes, and it translates those notes into follow-up. And you also have the ability to use this on Claude or ChatGPT. So like it does have MCP enablement as well. One of the cool things that I'm playing with, oh, you also have a QR code, right? So like those things like Popple and Blink, you're able to do that. And one of the cool things I'm playing with are signals. So with this, like I'm able to put in my website, and you have the option to create signals of when people in your ideal customer profile like have a leadership change, for example, or headcount growth, right? And like these are signals that I've identified for another one of my products that show that someone may be open to a conversation about me being able to serve them. And once it's able to do that, it actually generates a cold message. See leadership change from Tuskegee University. That would be me wanting to approach her about being able to use Capstone Workforce, which is another one of my products. So yeah, this shows she was appointed as a dean to see business school, and just has, well, he Shawn Rogers, and I'm able to use this as a form of cold outreach. But yeah, like this is my Frankenstein account. Like I'm always trying new stuff here, but in essence, it has changed like everything about the way that I approach follow up and outreach and the like. And I just want to make sure that it's impactful for the people who use it, and I want to make it stand out. So
All right.
that's what I have.
Shawn, thank you. I got to tell you, I remember seeing your product when you first showed it, or when I first tried it out, back when you did the first presentation here, and it's unbelievable how much it's grown.
Thank you. Yeah, like it was so cute,
So,
right? Like you
yeah.
follow up and you took a picture and the thing popped up. Like, yeah, this is great. But I realized it wasn't
It,
enough. And yeah.
so with that, let's see here. All right. So we are going to move into Q&A, ideas, thoughts as far as for Shawn. And all right. So we've got, all right, let's go ahead. Tom, you want to go ahead and kick us off?
Sure. Sean, great presentation, and I really am enjoying to see how your product's coming along. First of all, I just want to make sure I commend you on all the progress you've been making. Um, One question I do have, and it definitely kind of stems back to like your challenge question. If you're trying to get in front of event coordinators and meeting coordinator and logistics companies and event planners, that's a great target area, of course. Um, One thing that I ran into a little challenge with testing your product was actually making it execute effectively on the trade show floor. And what I mean is, I really didn't have an access mechanism to really quickly pull up your app and get to a business card and scan it. Like I'd have to go to a website, and I just like in the short period of time that you have, to make that, to orchestrate that handshake, basically, it became a challenge. So that was one thing that I noticed. I tried it at a couple of events. It's very good for doing things after the fact. But like in that moment, in that spot, that was one challenge. So I just wanted to kind of note that maybe something to take a look at, and try to consider get a mobile app so that you have something that's really accessible right at the front. The other comment I have, and then I'll move on, is that for the trade organizations and the trade show planners, this is a great opportunity to offer and maybe go to market with them to offer a sponsor solution, right? The sponsored paid solution from one of the event sponsors, and try to get that as part of one of the packages that are available as part of the group organization, right? They'll have a bunch of things from exhibiting to, social hours to gift bags to all kinds of stuff. But, having that kind of an app for lead tracking, that may really help your product go viral.
Thank you
Over.
so much, Tom. That's really thoughtful, and I appreciate you being an early user of the product.
Sure.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. Let's jump over to Jen.
That happened quickly. Quick question, Shawn. Who do you have testing it for you now? And how is that going? Like, do you have an event planner now? Are you the main tester right now? Who do you need to confirm the stage that you're at right now?
I mean, I've gotten to the point where like this is the only thing I use for my CRM. But like right now it's kind of onesies and twosies, like more solopreneurs than anything else. And what I've found is that it's nice for them, but for whatever reason, it's not sticky enough for them to use it every single day. And I don't think that I can really get the effectiveness I need unless it's really sticky. So I'm still trying to figure out who it would be really sticky to.
So my one piece of feedback, having tried CRMs, it's really an issue for me. It's not usually the CRM because we have to train people to have new habits. John Rinberg's laughing at me because he knows this about me. So I would think about, to Tom's point, how do you make it easy, like on your phone with an app? And then how do you do a gentle reminder or almost gamification? Maybe the more they use it, maybe they get a discounted price. But for those early adopters, how do you get them to buy into the habit change so they can also be your brand ambassadors?
I know for me personally, like I've set like email reminders. So if someone doesn't respond to your initial thread of follow up, like you'll send an email like, "Hey, didn't follow up." I mean, like they didn't respond to any of your messages, like go and re-engage, etc., etc. So I have added that to mine, but I haven't done that with anyone else because it's been pretty recent.
I was actually, make sure I communicated this correctly. I was talking about as the user of the CRM, reminding me to use it, right? Your platform looks great. It's just how do we get people to change their habits?
Right.
Awesome demo. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I still need to work on that, clearly.
All right, let's jump over to Stephen.
Good morning, Shawn.
Morning.
I got two thoughts. I think if you want to get in front of event planners, Mike Butera occasionally attends this meeting, and he often attends John Rutenberg's Tuesday morning Greater Washington Business Roundtable. Mike does a lot of work with associations, a lot of association consulting. So he's probably in front of a bunch of convention and meeting services people. He might be able to make introductions for you. And the other comment is obviously, I think we want to talk to John Rutenberg because he knows more about CRMs than anybody I know.
Thanks.
And we will get over to John, but Melinda, go ahead.
I just put into the chat a whole bunch of event and organizations that do meeting planning and everything else and trade shows and local DC chapters. And I'm thinking that, as was recommended earlier in the discussion, you need to get in front of these people. You should have a booth at their trade shows, number one. Number two, I love the idea of putting your name on some of the trinkets and trash, excuse my description. And number three, if there's an opportunity for you to speak as a keynote speaker or about the importance of the best ways to not miss your referrals and leads and gather information at trade shows, become a speaker and get on the speaker circuit.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Melinda. I'm going to jump in the front of the line here, not the front. I raised my hand. Shawn, I got to tell you, I'll say a challenge for me is trying to use the term CRM and then what this is doing. And I struggle a little bit in trying to understand if this is a CRM, because in everybody, or in my mind anyway, a CRM is a certain thing here. This is something else that goes to the CRM. And so I'm just struggling a little bit that way. So I just wanted to bring that up. I got to tell you, Shawn, though, what you're doing, I absolutely love, and I think it is a transition in thinking. So anyway, that's what I got to. That's all I got to say. I'm going to turn it over to the other John, the specialist of CRMs.
Yes.
Hey, Shawn, don't listen to anything anyone has said about me. They're all nuts. They're absolutely nuts. Having said that, I want to pick up on what Mr. Foster just said, but going back to Mike Butera, in order to build his speaking experience, he got involved with event planners and specifically an association of event planners, and he'll tell you which one he found successful. To pick up on, and we can make that connection easily. He couldn't be here today because he's speaking uh, somewhere else. But anyway, to pick up on John Foster's comment and to differentiate you from the hundreds of CRMs out there, calling yourself the constant connector or some name that some of the branding people in this room much better. I'm not good at being pretty, but other people can make it really handsome and pretty and the right sound. But you're a connector. Your product allows your user to connect with someone else they just met. And I'm just jumping on Foster's comment because he's right. And it may be a good way to differentiate yourself from all those darn CRMs that Jen doesn't want to use anyway.
So I do have a question about that, right? Because that sounds great for the website and everything else as far as being a separator, but how do I separate it online when I'm trying to get attention via SEO? Because like people aren't going to be searching for a catalyst like a connection catalyst. They're going to be searching for something to help them do follow up.
All
It
right.
requires greater thought, but the words customer relationship management might help as opposed to CRM.
Awesome. Thanks so
All
much.
right. Let's jump over to sweet Amy Hughes.
Oh my goodness. So, Shawn, love the update. Thank you for this. Curiously enough, I'm also targeting event planners, but that might be a conversation for offline for the two of us. I am going to shock most of the people on this call and suggest using AI as an option to get more visibility. Maria's not on the call. She probably, if she were, she would have passed out hearing me say that. Tom Nafer and I are beta testing a tool right now that Andrew Kolsky has designed. He's also presented here twice. It's a credibility generator. And the concept is you're creating social media posts with the help of AI, but it's putting them in a format that get seen. SEO and hashtags are apparently not, well, the hashtag campaigns are dated. But using SEO and using this tool, it's the credibility generator. I think he calls it CredGen. Tom's nodding, so I'm right. I put Andrew's contact information in the chat for you. I would reach out to him. He is actively looking for beta testers and early adopters. And I think the two of you could find some synergy.
That'll be lovely.
And
Thank you.
All right, let's jump over to Katie Nelson. Katie was very excited. Go, Katie.
Something. So, Shawn, one great presentation. It sounds like you've really got something that could take off. This is in response to the question, all of this is great, but how do I get seen online? I think that the answer to that question could lie in more actual in-person, like getting the information that you're getting from your beta testers, having these conversations and understanding the types of words that you could use that would really attract people to it. You know, the internet is like the biggest ocean in the world. And if you don't have the right net, you're going to get a lot of junk or not get seen. So I think, I don't know where you are currently networking, or if you go to those networking events on a regular basis in an effort to try and compound your relationship interest to get forward momentum in person first. What are you using right now to get seen online? Was there any feedback from anyone other than out of your own head or AI to say, hey, look, I'm trying to make a dent in this SEO world? Where are you currently pulling that information?
So the rub for me is that this isn't my only product, and like a lot of my in-person networking is going towards Capstone Workforce. So like I've been able to not only get traction there with the product itself, but I've also been able to find a niche where my SEO has been successful as far as Wheeler resources and Workforce Pell and the like. So this is really my only exposure to feedback on how to get this right. And my problem is I don't want to divide, attention or confuse people. Like I have Capstone Outreach and I have Grant Party, and so like I like to just keep it to one thing at a time. But like I would like to start, like if there's like real, like, hey, this can really take off. I would like to start the process of getting that going. And I know that will involve being around the people who would be my potential buyers and learning from them and like seeing what piques their interest.
To drop a couple names of places that could potentially net you users, where there would be a potential lot of users in the room from a solopreneur perspective or small business perspective. And depending on how much, there's actually a great networking event on later this month that I'm sure 1MillionCups will let you know about. We hope to see you
Yep.
there. Be a great
We
place
actually
to
have a
meet.
slide for that, Katie. Let's jump over to, I was going to call it James Lawson before he took that next sip.
I'm good to go. It's okay.
All right.
Shawn, awesome stuff. Loved it. So Honeybook, Zipsker, Monday, Planning Pod, right? Relevant, momentous. These are all CRM specifically being promoted for event planners, specifically for event planning. And so I guess my thing here is, your question is, how do I get in front of event planners, right? Is your CRM right now, if I'm an event planner and I'm going to do a search, would I find it as being specifically built for me, or is it just a CRM tool?
No, like it's not built for event planners. Like a lot of this is me trying to get in front of them to figure out how to make it impactful for them.
Right. And so I think that one of the bigger challenges here is that trying to get into an embedded space where there's already a number of high profile players in there. And to Jen's point, part of this is like, what do we do instinctively? How do you change behavior to work the way that you want people to work in your system? There are absolutely a number of event planners locally around here that honestly, you can spend time on SEO, or you can pick up a phone and just say, hey, would you be willing to run this for like the next 30 days? I'm really just looking for a handful of people to try this out. I think it's great, but I'm not an event planner, but I know it's going to be useful. And I think it's easy to get caught up into going and doing events, and you should do events. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I think when you're trying to do what you're trying to do and to get that intelligence, I would just pick up the phone. And I know a couple of them. I know a couple of event planners locally that I could certainly put you in touch with. But let someone go just try it. So listen, I'll give you access to it, whatever it is, and then see what they come back with. you may well find that what you're building doesn't actually suit what they're trying to do, or it's 85% there, but it needs X, Y, and Z tweaks to actually make it work.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm very big on just personal outreach. Make a phone call. Hey, I
Yes,
got it.
I thank you, James. I'm counting on it not being 100% there, which is why I'd like to get in
Yeah.
in their hands. Because I need to figure out the other 15%. I have zero ego about making this work because I'm
Yeah.
not in charge of the problem.
Right. Okay.
All
Anyway,
right.
that's my gig, Sean.
Thank you, James. Let's jump over to that all-knowing John Norris. John Norris.
All knowing about what? Italian food.
Don't
Hey,
be disingenuous. We're waiting for your wisdom.
Yes.
Hey, Shawn, I have kind of a two-part question, and that is that what do you feel like the problem you're solving that say isn't being solved? You understand what I'm saying? There's a million CRMs as James just read a list for just one industry. What are you solving that maybe someone else hasn't solved? Or are you just trying to build a better mousetrap? I think that's what you got to ask yourself as far as your business strategy. Because if you're bringing something to market that's never been seen or it's more efficient, that's what you should be ringing the bell about, saying, hey, I have this and no one else does. But if you're in a crowded space like a CRM, how are you differentiating yourself?
Yeah, like for me, it's that foundational issue of follow-up, especially after these events. Like I tested on myself, and of course, I knew HubSpot existed and everything else, and I could not solve the follow-up bug until like I created it myself. And like I said before, as a solo founder who was just trying to get off the ground and build any social capital, being able to follow up consistently and ensure I'm actually reaching out and taking advantage of every opportunity I possibly could get was like a sea change for me business wise and just like the way that I approach things. So I like for me that's my separator, and I just built everything around it as far as like being connected to meetings and everything else. But no, my big separator is that like you don't lose I don't lose leads anymore.
All right. Shawn, greatly appreciate it. All right. So let's see. I'm going to call on Nicole, then Jen, then Melinda. Go ahead,
Hey,
Nicole.
thank you. Hi. I'm off camera again today. Sorry about that. So I will say that, hey, great update, and I'm excited to see where you're going to go with this, understanding where you're coming from. I do agree it's not quite a CRM, and that you may benefit from refining that into a contact, like someone said earlier, contact connection wizard or a contact connection utility, and then defining who your actual competition is from there or finding the language around it. But if you are looking for to niche it down to event planners, go where events are. And that is, probably the number one site on that is Eventbrite. And then beyond that, Alignable is a great resource also. But honestly, every coach and consultant and micro business owner host their own events all the time where they are networking and regularly interacting with new contact that they have to keep track of. So, take it back to this is your Rolodex, and we're helping you to organize your Rolodex and create those connections and then infuse it with AI that is more pronounced in terms of what your actual niche is going to be after you define what that is. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Nicole. All right, Jen.
Thank you, John. I don't think event planners are the right audience. I understand why you want to talk with them, I think, because lots of people go to events who need a type of tool like this while they're connecting with people. So maybe for event planners, if it's a benefit for a sponsor that they get access to this thing, or if it's a benefit for attendees, they get access to this free tool for 30 days. There may be something there, but I agree with Nicole. I agree with Nicole. Solopreneurs, I think, are your target audience. So one thought, Might be doing a little mini LinkedIn 30-second video every Friday, follow-up Friday. You can call it that. You
Okay.
can talk about how you used your platform to follow up with 5 people this week or 10 people this week. And keep it simple because I think your differentiator should be that this is a CRM you'll actually use, right? Because a lot of people will get a CRM, but they just don't change their habits, like I mentioned earlier. The only other two thoughts, one is that if I look at Pipedrive, which I think is actually the closest competitor to some degree,
Yeah.
their fee for a light version is $14 a month. So I think you may need to look at some price adjustments, either a freemium model or something else, but you really want users. So you want to make sure the price, like people could get in now between now and the end of the year for this price. Maybe it goes up next year, but think about, I think that $25 a month might be a barrier. Lastly, all of your businesses, I think there are 3 that you have, and I might be wrong, but all of them are about accelerating connection. So even if you're out talking about Capstone Workforce, or if you're talking about this, I would figure out how do you make that messaging, bring them all together to show the value you provide.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen.
Yep, and I'm happy to try it. I just need to know where to sign up. So if you want to drop a link in the chat for all of our guests at some point, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen. All right. And Shawn, you will get all of this, as you know, you'll get the video and the texts and all this. So with that, let me turn that over to Melinda.
I spent a couple of years in the event marketing industry going after the folks that sponsored trade shows and events and a lot of things. The company I worked with was called Wish You, meaning wished you were here. Their little idea was initially to help people take pictures at events of the people that came by their booths, kind of wish you were here type stuff. I took it into the ride and drive industry where they were capturing information in the automotive industry via writing down who came to drive a car, giving it to a um, company to sort out all the referrals and leads and then send it to the people that put on the trade show, and then it went to the dealers. Long process. I put together a process to scan licenses where they got the information immediately and they walked away with the leads immediately. There are lots of things. So I don't know if you're trying to help organizations get leads when they're at events, or you're trying to get a whole bunch of event planners that have events to use it to help their clients get referrals, leads. I'm a little bit confused on how your product is being used, because if it's for the person that goes to the event, that's different than, as everybody is talking about, whether it's for somebody who is just going after the event planners. And if it is for people that go to events, you need to capture their attention at the event and then give them a reason to come back to you. And coming up with some marketing strategies and things before the event that will actually qualify people that you're talking to at the event when you scan their cards.
Gotcha.
All right. Thank you, Melinda. Alyssa.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. Okay. Thanks for your presentation, Shawn. I think that's really cool. I've never heard of such a thing before. And I'm probably not your best target audience because I don't actually go to a lot of conferences and networking events, but I do occasionally go to calligraphy conferences where there are new people that I meet. But they're usually other calligraphers, not my potential clients. But so you mentioned that you don't really want to compete with things like HubSpot and dedicated CRMs, right?
Yeah, I just think my product is it serves a fundamentally different purpose than something like HubSpot.
Okay. So in that case, you would probably have a bunch of potential clients who would want to use your product to kind of begin with new people and then move those people over to their long-term CRM. And so I'm wondering if your app is already set up to connect easily with long-term CRMs, Because if it is, not only would that help people who use those, but I think it would really be a good selling point because you could say, you know, whatever big name people are familiar with and that they use, you could say, this works perfectly with such and such, you know? And otherwise, people are going to wonder what spot your product fills. But if you can say, like, this is exactly what it does, and then after this phase is over, you move them over to your CRM, then people will be like, oh, yeah, that is kind of a gap in my workflow right now. That could be useful. And the other thing is, I know that would be a lot of work, though. Like, I'm throwing that out there, but that's like a huge project to make it actually connect with other apps. But the other thing that I wanted to bring up, and I know this is kind of a sensitive topic for everyone who owns a business, like the name that you choose, but you know, you're coming from a particular background, the military and federal work background, and the name sounds like that. It sounds like a federal think tank or consulting firm or something like that. And to me, as someone who might consider it for an app that I use on a regular basis, I would be like, oh gosh, I don't know if I'm that corporate or, you know, I don't know if that name might even fit on my phone screen. Um, so, you know, just something to consider. Like, is there a short, snappy name that would sound kind of like, oh yeah, that sounds so cool and slick, you know?
Maybe reach around.
Maybe.
Awesome. Well, thank you,
Should in
Alyssa.
this room, but I'm just gonna go with no,
Go.
sir.
Well, Katie, speaking of that, why don't you go ahead and jump in?
Thank you so much. Oh, well, I had a thought. You know, one of the things that I keep hearing you say, Shawn, is that so this is how it works for me. It solved this problem for me. So I guess my question would be, who are the yous in the world? Like, how do you describe yourself? What exact problem did it solve? And when you tell the story of, are you like me? Does this happen to you? I've gone through X product, Y product, Z product. None of them overcame this challenge. And so I created this thing to do this exact thing, whether it's, you know, fill in the blank of the new name that we're trying to give you, right? In terms of pipeline accelerator, or, you know, it really bridges a gap between this hefty tech specifically to manage your client relationships. But we're currently talking about a group of people that you don't even know if you want to have a relationship with yet. So do you want all this good data in that CRM? Or potentially bad data in that CRM. So who are the yous? How would you describe yourself? And what was the place where you were when you were like, oh my gosh, I have to create this thing to fix this problem? Because I think that's your strongest story, both for public speaking, marketing, in-person networking, and potentially your SEO.
Awesome.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and
Thank you, Katie. We are going to, Nicole, you're going to be our final person. We're going to wrap up with you, Nicole.
Awesome. Okay, so I have two things to say. So number one is a question, and that is this your development or is this a white label of something else? Something you mentioned is making me ask that. So it's
oh no,
right.
like this is mine. I built it.
Okay, so in speaking of integrations, and you mentioned your MCP server, make sure that is a branded MCP server, and then create a unique feature in that MCP server that makes your brand make sense, and then talk about it as the way to integrate with all those applications that the gentleman previously mentioned, like Monday, HubSpot, blah blah blah. So that way you can feed. You're the source that feeds those applications. So that's the way to put that chain together. And then lady before me, excuse me, I'm sorry with names today. I'm not looking at my phone, so I didn't know who said that. But she mentioned that you said, and I missed this, but you're coming from a federal background. So I understand that you're talking event planners right now, but you are intimately in a good position to support the military and the federal contracting space, which is extremely heavy in this area. So if you're looking for a customer, GovCon, cybersecurity, all those folks are constantly networking and constantly trying to find ways to keep track of this because that's not their bag either. And you've created the solution for that. So consider, spinning it off to, the military version or the GovCon version. And, now you have two apps that do the same thing but support different niches. Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I had not thought of that.
Man, and that's why we're here. Shawn, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your participation. Shawn, we do have one last question for you.
Mhm.
And we're going to jump over to, hopefully this is sharing correctly. So Shawn, what can our 1 Million Cups community help you with today?
Introductions would be the best thing because I really want to figure out how to niche this down to who needs it the most and who will value it the most. Like I don't want to serve 100 people okay. I want to serve 10 people exceptionally well, and I would like to figure out who those 10 people are. Jen mentioned that it may not be event planners, and I'm quite open to that idea, but I'm desperately looking for the 10 people I can serve exceptionally well and will appreciate it in kind.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Shawn. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Amy.
And I'm going to try and use my computer. Shawn, just an aside, I love your line. I don't want to serve 100 people. I want to serve 10 people well. It's similar to the line that I use when I say, I don't want to be Hershey's. I want to know my target and want them to value it. So next week's presenter is the Masterpiece Academy. So Krishna Kart will be here sharing information about and challenges. You saw how it goes and how we respond as a community to challenge questions. So if you are interested in sharing, we would love to know your challenge. We would love to help with that. It is intentional, radical community feedback, and it is low stakes, low stress testing. We have upcoming events. I think the big one to mention is August 27th. Jen shared that information in the chat. That is a mixer at the Mason Enterprise Center, and there's a whole slide. So, Jen, do you want to speak to that briefly?
Sure thing. It is between MEC, us, and the hub. The goal is to have about 100 plus people there. It will be in the atrium at Eaton Place. So that's the first floor. So please join us. And Shawn, maybe we can figure out how to have your app there.
That would be lovely, Jen. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Also, on that previous slide, John, if you'll flip back. Oh, nope, we're good. We're going to go to the presenter schedule. So next week, you can see with the presenters through October. We do have some open slots. If you are interested in presenting, please jump in there. You can submit your application via the 1 Million Cups website. It's 1millioncups.org, and it will link you to us, to our community. Let your network know that we are here. Bonnie said that she didn't know that this entrepreneurial community existed, and I'm sure there's other people who don't know that either. So please share that your experience on social media. You can see everything there, and if you click the QR code, you can get all of the links in one spot. If you have time, stick around a while. We wrap up right at 10 generally to be respectful of your time. But if you do have a minute and want to stay and chat, we would love to do that. Thanks so much. Hope to see you next week. If you have not checked in, please scan that QR code. And if you have not saved the chat, go to the chat, go to the upper